Okay, in this tutorial, I'm going to look at how you answer a question where you're asked to describe and explain the weather associated with an anticyclone, which is as an area of high pressure. And just as with low pressure, the key to answering this question is by remembering the 6 key elements of the weather, and these should feature in your answer. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is attempt this question down here without actually listening to my tutorial, and then we'll come back and go through reviewing this question, which will also help you understand high pressure weather. And I suggest you take some notes. Okay, hopefully you've actually attempted this question. So let's just have a little look at how we unlock this. The first thing is, in order to answer the question that you can see, you actually have to be able to describe the weather in the place you're given. Now, in this case, it's Bathgate in Scotland, and you've got a synoptic weather symbol. Sometimes that's the way what you'll be given, or you might actually be given a description of the weather in Bathgate or somewhere similar. In this case, we can see there is 1 octa of cloud cover. There is no weather, there's no rain because there's no symbol down here in the bottom left-hand corner. The wind is coming from the west. It's 5 knots because we've got a little half tick, and it's -2. Okay, so that's the weather. The question, though, it says give reason. So it's basically asking you to explain. So let's have a think about what we've learned about low pressure and think about high pressure as being the opposite. So the first thing, let's deal with temperature, because that's the top of our list. What is the temperature in an area of high pressure? Well, that is largely dictated by the time of year. Now we can see it is the 28th of December, so that's winter time. We should know that high pressure, and we know it's high pressure because the isobars above 1,000, brings cloudless days because the air is sinking, therefore clouds aren't forming. And because there are no clouds, in wintertime, that causes the heat to all escape. So we get very low temperatures. So the -2 temperature in Bathgate is being caused by it being high pressure, there being a lack of clouds, which is allowing the heat to escape, and that is why the temperature is so low. Another reason for it being -2 is actually a simple statement by saying it's the 28th of December. It's wintertime, and Bathgate is in a northern latitude, it's in Scotland, and therefore it's tilted away from the sun, and therefore less of the surface of the earth gets heated by the sun, and that also is why it's -2. Let's deal with rainfall. Well, a lot of people ignore this point, but you should actually say there is no rain. So rather than not saying that there isn't any rain because there isn't any rain, actually say there is no rain and give a reason for there being no rain. Now, there is no rain because there are no clouds because it's an area of high pressure. There's also no rain because there are no weather fronts present on the weather map, and it's weather fronts that bring rain. So the lack of weather fronts explains why there are no rain. So what's the wind direction? Well, to explain the wind direction, and we can see that it is coming from the west, we have to know that this is high pressure and that wind travels in a clockwise direction following the isobars. So if we imagine this red dot as the wind, it's following the isobars, it's in a clockwise direction, and as it circulates round coming towards Bathgate, it's coming from the west. So the wind direction is coming from the west because winds travel in a clockwise direction in areas of high pressure. So that's a bit of knowledge you have to remember. So what's the cloud cover? Well, 1 octa, very little clouds because it's an area of high pressure, which means that the air is sinking and therefore clouds aren't forming. There's also no clouds because there are no weather fronts. So it's a very similar point that you made to do with the rainfall. And we've already addressed the air pressure. We've identified it's high pressure. Okay, that deals with the weather. There is one final part of the weather that you can get with high pressure that's not referred to on this weather map or in the weather symbol, but in the morning you'll often get a frost in wintertime because the moisture in the air settles because air is sinking, and as the temperature cools, it crystallizes and forms that frost on the ground. In summertime, rather than being frost because the temperatures are much warmer at night, it'll form as a dew as the air settles with the moisture in it on the ground.